We're doing okay. And sometimes in life, the truth is this: God has to break you down before he lifts you up. For nearly 4 decades, Judge Greg Mathis and his wife Linda represented something almost unheard of in celebrity culture: longevity without chaos. No tabloid meltdowns, no public scandals, no messy headlines, just quiet consistency. A marriage that seemed to survive fame without losing its soul. Which is exactly why what happened next stunned so many people. Almost overnight, a love story that began long before television cameras and courtroom lights took a sudden, confusing turn. There was no explosive announcement, no public accusations, just a shift that didn't add up, and silence that invited speculation. And once rumors began filling that silence, the story only grew more complicated. So what really happened behind the scenes? And how did a man who built his entire legacy on accountability find himself facing the most personal reckoning of his life? Music. Greg Mathis's journey didn't begin on television. It began in Detroit. Hard, raw, and unforgiving. He was born and raised by Charles and Alice Lee Mathis, but it was his mother who truly shaped his path. Alice was a deeply devout Seventh-day Adventist who worked grueling hours as a nurse's aide and housekeeper just to keep her family afloat. By the time the social unrest of the 1960s and 70s swept through Detroit, she was divorced and raising 4 boys entirely on her own. In 1964, the family moved into the Herman Gardens housing projects. They stayed until around 1970, leaving only when drugs and violence became impossible to ignore. It was an environment that tested even the strongest families, and Alice fought back the only way she knew how: discipline, faith, and structure. Church was mandatory. Homework was non-negotiable. Family dinners and prayer anchored the household. But outside their door, the streets spoke louder than sermons ever could. By his teenage years, Greg Mathis was slipping into street life. Purse snatching, breaking and entering, robberies. At 17, everything collapsed. A concealed weapons charge sent him to Wayne County Jail for 9 months, forcing him to confront just how far he'd fallen. While incarcerated, his mother visited him with devastating news. She had colon cancer. Around the same time, the judge overseeing his case gave him a choice: earn a GED or stay behind bars. Greg chose education. He was granted early probation, but the moment that truly changed his life came when he made a promise to his dying mother. A promise that became his moral anchor. The road forward wasn't glamorous. After his release, he worked at McDonald's flipping burgers, not for prestige, but for survival and stability. A family friend later helped him enroll at Eastern Michigan University, where something unexpected happened. Greg found purpose. He immersed himself in politics and public service, organizing protests against apartheid and joining the Democratic Party. He wasn't just studying government, he was practicing it. After earning a degree in public administration, he went to work at Detroit City Hall, later joining Mayor Coleman Young's administration. Eventually, he turned to law, dedicating himself to defending young people who reminded him of his former self. Then his past came back to challenge him. When he applied for his law license, his criminal record nearly stopped everything. Instead of accepting defeat, Greg took the fight all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court and won. His years of service outweighed the mistakes of his youth. When he finally took the bench, the story captured national attention. A former inmate becoming a judge in just 15 years felt almost unreal. Music. But years later, cracks began to appear. In 2019, Judge Mathis unexpectedly found himself at the center of a real-world confrontation outside Flood's Bar and Grill in Detroit. According to reports, a valet mistakenly took the wrong vehicle while holding Mathis's keys, leaving him waiting. Frustration built. Voices were raised. And then came the allegation that shocked fans. Claims that Mathis spat on the valet before driving away. Mathis denied the accusation, admitting only to raising his voice. No charges were filed. Still, the incident clashed sharply with his calm on-screen persona. Then came another allegation in late 2024, this time in Los Angeles. A city worker accused Mathis of threatening him with a gun during a dispute outside Mathis's home. Mathis's legal team immediately rejected the claims, calling them extortion attempts. No police investigation followed, but the damage to public perception lingered. Together, these incidents complicated the image of a man long known for dispensing justice. Music. At the same time, his television world was changing. Judge Mathis had been a fixture in American living rooms for over 2 decades, one of the longest-running court shows in TV history. When Warner Brothers canceled the show in 2022, it felt like the end of an era. But Mathis wasn't done. He shifted his focus toward Black-owned studios and creators, determined to build ownership, not just representation. That mission extended into his personal life with Mathis Family Matters, a reality series that showcased stability, accountability, and Black love. And for a while, everything still looked solid. Which is why the news in August 2024 hit so hard. After nearly 40 years of marriage, Linda Mathis filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The separation date was listed as July 17th. Spousal support was requested. No prenuptial agreement was confirmed. Fans were stunned. Just months earlier, the couple had been traveling together. Europe, Cabo, even vacations aboard Magic Johnson's yacht. Public appearances showed smiles, affection, and unity. So what changed? As expected, the internet filled in the gaps with speculation. Cheating rumors, secret children, wild accusations. None of it backed by evidence. Eventually, Mathis spoke. He denied infidelity, denied secret children. But he did something unexpected. He took responsibility. He admitted neglect. Between non-stop travel, work, and social commitments, his wife had slowly moved down his list of priorities. When production moved to Los Angeles, he promised things would change. They didn't. And by the time he realized the damage, the relationship was already fractured. Even so, he wasn't ready to give up. They remained under the same roof. He spoke openly about wanting reconciliation. And slowly, something began to shift. By November 2024, Mathis confirmed they were actively rebuilding. By July 2025, photos of the couple kissing in New York went viral. Videos surfaced of him serenading Linda, affection clearly restored. Then came the Tamron Hall interview. Together, they spoke honestly about the strain, the separation, and the work it took to reconnect. Linda revealed she filed for divorce not out of anger, but self-preservation. After years of holding everything together, she needed to choose herself. That choice, ironically, saved the marriage. For Mathis, the pain rivaled losing his mother. It forced him to change. Not with words, but with consistency. Their son later confirmed what fans could already see. The family was healing. In the end, the Mathis story didn't resolve with scandal or collapse. It resolved with accountability. Not by ignoring the cracks, but by facing them head-on, choosing day after day to rebuild something stronger than before.